It's great to be here and get to share with all of you some of the great work that the Mac at IBM team has been doing at IBM. Our job is to create a productive environment for IBMers where great people want to come to work and we can attract and retain top talent. We really view the Mac at IBM program as driving culture transformation as IBM pivots to a more agile enterprise. And then the thing that's kind of really interesting for us in IT is 40% of those 500,000 plus people will never come into a traditional IBM office. And that's either because they're working at home or they're co-located out with customers as part of IBM's strategic outsourcing business. But it does present some kind of unique challenges from IT. So let's talk about the Mac at IBM program. There had, I think, always been quite a lot of built-up demand for people that wanted to use Macs at IBM, and we certainly in IT wanted to be able to offer Macs to people. What we came away with was, this is what we think we saw at Apple, and this is what we wanted to bring back to IBM and see if we could make that work for us. And it was really this kind of three-pronged approach of give people the right devices, in this case Macs and iOS devices, and manage those assets in a modern way, but manage your laptop in a way that's a lot more familiar or consistent with the way that a mobile device is managed today. Things like cloud-based provisioning, zero-touch enrollment, app stores, user profiles. Can I throw that laptop into the ocean and go buy another one and have everything magically reappear on it? And then drive self-sufficiency and simplification in the environment such that people are just not having as many problems and don't have as many reasons to call the help desk. When we say Mac at IBM, it really, and you'll see in a minute, it involves a lot more than just giving people Macs, right? If we just buy Macs and support them the way we support PCs, that's not what we're going for. And so we said, we need to find a way that we can do this cost neutral to IBM, and these are the things that we will measure as we look at this. This is something people want, it makes them happier, it makes them more productive, and increasingly we see it as a competitive disadvantage not to allow employees to have choice in this space. Success would look like if you got a Mac at IBM, that it would be in a shrink-wrapped box, because we're not going to use an image, and there would just be a sticky note on it with the URL, and that would be the sum total of the instructions that you would need to get your Mac up and running. We opened it up to all employees to have choice and said, if you're due for a new machine and you wish to have a Mac, you can have it, and this is what the process looked like on June 1st. We were really thrilled with it. It worked. We didn't need to have an image, because all of the things that you would normally traditionally do in the context of an image, we were doing at time of enrollment with Casper. And then at the end of it, we would display this picture and say, here are all the things that we did. We installed Lotus Notes, same time, the VPN client, put the Wi-Fi certificates on, set the password policy, turned on disk encryption, installed Java, et cetera, et cetera. The other thing we thought was, well, if we are not having an IBM image of OS X, and you're going to get a shrink-wrapped Mac because we're buying the same Mac that you could wander into any Apple store and buy yourself, how do we kind of preserve that excitement and that experience that you get from Apple.com? And even when you get the device, taking the shrink wrap off and opening it up for the first time, and how can we kind of mirror that experience in the enterprise? And we have done some work to be able to, if you do choose a Mac, send you an email when it's on its way to you, send another email when it arrives, and then send a follow-up email reminding people, here's how you get help if you do need any help. And so, all of these things kind of drive the experience, but they're really designed to avoid a situation where people call and say, I just got my Mac, how do I set it up? By the way, we do use the self-service app as the one and only way that software is distributed to our Macs. I talked about managing laptops more the way you would expect mobile devices to be managed, and that's something that self-service really gives us, because there's no more confusion about having multiple app stores or distribution points or shared folders. The other thing it does for us is it really simplifies a lot of that process. We did also make a fairly important decision that the support model was really key to this whole program. And rather than take people who are already supporting PCs and dub them Mac support, that it was really important to hire people that loved the Mac as much as the people who were going to be using them. So we're deploying about 1,900 Macs per week. That plus the iOS environment is about 130,000 devices. It's a total staff of 24 people, fewer people than we would see in a traditional PC support model. And so you would probably expect to see really poor CSAT, right? I mean, they're probably inundated with calls, you can have long wait times. And yet, what do we see? 85% CSAT. By the way, it's 90% overall satisfied or very satisfied with the skill level of the person they spoke to. 5% of the Mac users ever call the help desk. 40% of our PC users call the help desk. So because of the way that we're deploying them, there are just simply fewer problems. And also the Mac itself, right? So the business case so far, as I mentioned, we started June 1st. So some of this is still a work in progress. What I would say is the longer that this program runs, the more compelling the business case becomes. And you know, I don't have a dollar figure on here yet that we're ready to share, but I can confidently say every Mac that we buy is making and saving IBM money. Thank you all for your time.